The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the ancient crumbling buildings of Al-Firasha. The air was thick with the scent of decaying leaves and the faint, distant echoes of carnival music. Tzvi shivered as he and his friends stood at the edge of the abandoned carnival, a place long forgotten and shrouded in mystery. "Are you sure about this, Tzvi?" Nataniel's voice trembled with a mix of excitement and fear. "They say the carnival is haunted by the spirits of those who disappeared here centuries ago." "That's exactly why we're here," Tzvi replied, his eyes gleaming with determination. "We need to uncover the truth behind these legends." As they walked through the old rusted gates, they saw the old rides and tents looming like ghostly specters in the moon's bright light. The wind creaked and swung the Ferris wheel, as the painted horses on the carousel seemed to be watching them, their eyes being hollow. Yair's flashlight flickered on and off, casting long shadows that danced and whispered around them. "I don't like this place," he muttered, looking behind him. "It feels like someone is watching us." Mireille, the youngest of the group, clung to Lev's arm, her wide eyes reflecting the eerie glow of the moon. "What if the stories are true?" she whispered. "What if the carnival is cursed?" "There's only one way to find out," Tzvi said, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "Let's split up and explore. We'll meet back here in an hour." Separately, the members went into every corner of that deserted carnival, and the wind turned chilly, making its way all over the abandoned carnival grounds by carrying with itself a faint, eerie laughter. Thus, the venture had begun. Shadows of Al-Firasha stood ready to unwrap their darkest mysteries. Nataniel was attracted to the old funhouse, its entrance flanked by faded, grinning clowns. He pushed open the creaking door, and the sound echoed through the empty carnival like a sinister laugh. As he stepped inside, the air grew colder, and a thick layer of dust coated the floor. The mirrors within the funhouse were cracked and distorted, casting warped images of Nataniel as he moved down the narrow corridors. Every step he took seemed to magnify the eerie silence until a faint, childlike giggle cut through it. He stopped, his heart racing as the sound of tiny footsteps echoed behind him. "Who's there?" Nataniel called out, his voice trembling. There was no response, only the soft, echoing laughter that seemed to come from all directions. He quickened his pace, determined to find an exit, but the funhouse seemed to stretch endlessly, twisting and turning in ways that defied logic. The giggling grew louder, more insistent, as if mocking his every move. Panic set in, and he broke into a run, desperate to escape the malevolent maze. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a hidden door, its surface covered in strange, ancient symbols. With a shaky hand, he pushed it open and found himself in a small, dimly lit room. In the center of the room stood an old wooden chest, its lid slightly ajar. Nataniel approached the chest cautiously, his curiosity overcoming his fear. As he lifted the lid, a gust of cold air swept through the room, extinguishing the dim light. In the darkness, he could feel the presence of something ancient and powerful, something that had been waiting for centuries to be unleashed. The laughter ceased, replaced by a low, menacing whisper that seemed to emanate from the very walls. "You shouldn't have come here," the voice hissed. "Now you're part of the carnival's curse." Fear took hold of him as he quickly slammed the lid down and got out of there as fast as he could. The whispers haunted him as he backtracked from the funhouse. When finally he pushed himself out of the exit, breathing for air, he knew what haunted the old abandoned carnival was much worse than he had thought. Lev and Mireille wandered down a twisted path lined with broken carnival booths, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying wood, and the distant sound of wind chimes tinkled ominously. "Do you think we'll find anything?" Mireille asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Maybe, Lev replied, trying to sound confident. But we need to be careful. This place feels wrong. As they approached an old fortune teller's tent, a sudden gust of wind blew through, rustling the tattered fabric. The entrance flapped open, revealing a dimly lit interior. Intrigued, they stepped inside, their eyes adjusting to the flickering candlelight. The tent was filled with strange artifacts, dusty crystal balls, ancient tarot cards, and shelves lined with jars of mysterious herbs. In the center of the room stood a small round table, covered in a faded velvet cloth. On the table lay an ornate box, intricately carved with symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. "Do you think we should open it?" Mireille asked, her hand trembling as she reached for the box. "We have to," Lev said, his curiosity overcoming his fear. "It might hold clues to what happened here." As Mireille lifted the lid, a chilling breeze swept through the tent, extinguishing the candles. In the darkness, they could feel the presence of something ancient and malevolent. The box contained an old, yellowed scroll, covered in strange writing. Lev unrolled the scroll and began to read aloud, his voice trembling with each word. "By the light of the full moon, the curse of the carnival shall be unleashed, binding the souls of those who dare to enter." Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled, and a low, guttural growl echoed through the tent. They turned to see a shadowy figure standing in the entrance, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. "Run!" Lev shouted, grabbing Mireille's hand and pulling her towards the exit. They stumbled out of the tent and sprinted down the twisted path, the growl growing louder and more menacing with each step. As they reached the clearing, the shadowy figure vanished, leaving them gasping for breath and drenched in sweat. They knew that whatever haunted the carnival was far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. Talia and Rivka found themselves drawn to a brightly colored tent at the far end of the carnival. As they approached, they noticed a sign that read, "The Enchanted Mirror." Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of incense, and the dim light cast eerie shadows on the walls. In the center of the tent stood a tall, ornate mirror, its surface covered in a layer of dust. Talia reached out to wipe the dust away, revealing a reflection that sent chills down her spine. Instead of their own faces, the mirror showed the image of a young girl, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Who is she?" Rivka whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Talia replied, "but we need to find out." As they stared into the mirror, the girl's image began to move. She reached out a hand, and Talia felt a cold, ghostly touch on her own. The mirror seemed to draw them in, its surface rippling like water. "We have to help her," Talia said, her voice determined. "She's trying to tell us something." Suddenly, the tent filled with a swirling mist, and the girl's voice echoed around them. "Find the key," she whispered. "Free us from this curse." Before they could ask what she meant, the mist vanished, and the mirror returned to its normal state. Talia and Rivka exchanged a worried glance, knowing that their quest had just become even more dangerous. Yair stumbled upon a small, decrepit jewelry stall, its glass cases cracked and covered in grime. As he peered inside, something glinted in the moonlight. Among the dusty trinkets lay a ring, its gemstone pulsing with an eerie, otherworldly light. Curiosity getting the better of him, Yair picked up the ring. The moment he touched it, a cold shiver ran down his spine, and he heard a faint whisper in his ear. "Wear it," the voice urged. "Unleash its power." Despite his better judgment, Yair slipped the ring onto his finger. Instantly, he felt a surge of energy, as if the ring was binding itself to him. The whispers grew louder, filling his mind with dark, sinister thoughts. "Yair!" Matan's voice broke through the haze. "What are you doing? Put that down!" Yair looked up to see Matan standing by the entrance to the stall. His face pale with fear, he called softly. I can't get it off. It's stuck. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Matan pulled out Yair, and they both rushed back to their meeting point, the cursed ring ominously glowing in the darkness. Lev and Mireille regrouped with the others, each sharing their terrifying encounters. As they spoke, the sound of distant haunting carousel music filled the air. The group turned to see the old carousel slowly coming to life, its once muted lights flickering back on. That wasn't working when we got here, Nataniel said, his voice tinged with fear. Tzvi nodded. Something's drawing us in. We need to stick together. They approached the carousel cautiously, its painted horses moving up and down in a slow, ghostly rhythm. In the center of the ride, they noticed an old journal, its pages yellowed with age. Talia picked it up and began to read aloud. This journal belonged to the carnival's founder, Ibrahim Al-Razi. He wrote of a powerful curse placed upon the carnival by a vengeful spirit. The only way to break the curse is to find the key and release the trapped souls. As she finished reading, the carousel suddenly sped up, the music growing louder and more frenzied. The group backed away, realizing that the carnival was trying to keep them from discovering the truth. We need to find that key, Tzvi said, determination in his eyes. It's our only hope. Following the journal's clues, the group made their way to the old haunted house. The facade was covered in cobwebs, and the once glowing eyes of the animatronic ghosts had dulled with age. We have to go in, Leora said, her voice steady. The journal mentioned something hidden inside. With a deep breath, they pushed open the creaking door and stepped into the darkness. The air was thick with the scent of mold and decay, and the sound of distant whispers echoed through the halls. As they navigated the winding corridors, the haunted house seemed to come alive. Shadows danced on the walls, and ghostly figures appeared and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The group stayed close together, their flashlights casting a faint glow in the eerie darkness. In the final room, they found an old, dusty chest. Tzvi carefully opened it, revealing a tarnished key and a letter. The letter explained that the key could unlock the spirit's prison, but warned that the process would be dangerous and could unleash even more malevolent forces. We have to do this, Tzvi said, holding the key tightly. It's the only way to end the curse. With the key in hand, the group hurried back to the carousel. As they approached, the ghostly music grew louder and the lights flickered erratically. There's a hidden compartment, Mireille said, remembering the journal's instructions. We need to find it. They searched the base of the carousel, their hands feeling for any loose panels or hidden latches. Finally, Lev found a small, inconspicuous door. He pried it open, revealing a dark, narrow tunnel. This must be it, Tzvi said. Let's go. One by one, they crawled through the tunnel, and out came they in a dimly lit chamber under the carnival. The air was cold and damp, and the walls were covered in strange symbols that seemed to pulse with an eerie glow. In the center of the chamber stood an ancient, ornate door. The key fit perfectly into the lock, and as Tzvi turned it, the door creaked open, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness. This is it, Tzvi said, his voice barely audible over the howling wind. The source of the curse. As the group stepped through the door, they were engulfed in darkness. The air was thick with an oppressive, suffocating presence, and the sound of tormented souls filled their ears. We have to stay together, Rivka said, her voice trembling. Don't let go. They navigated the swirling vortex, their steps slow and cautious. The ground seemed to shift beneath their feet, and the walls pulsed with a dark, malevolent energy. In the center of the vortex, they found a large, ornate mirror. The surface was covered in a thick layer of dust, and the reflections were distorted and twisted. This is it, Tzvi said. We need to break the mirror to free the souls. With a deep breath, Tzvi raised a heavy stone and brought it crashing down on the mirror. The glass shattered, and a blinding light filled the vortex. The sound of tormented souls grew louder, then suddenly ceased, replaced by an eerie silence. As the light faded, the group found themselves back in the carnival, the key and the vortex gone. The air felt lighter, and the oppressive presence had vanished. "We did it," Tzvi said, relief washing over him. "The curse is broken." The carnival seemed to have returned to its abandoned state, but the group knew they couldn't leave without ensuring the curse was truly lifted. They decided to explore the grounds one last time, looking for any signs of lingering malevolence. As they walked through the deserted pathways, they noticed that the once creaking rides had fallen silent, and the ghostly whispers had ceased. The eerie atmosphere had lifted, replaced by an almost peaceful stillness. However, their relief was short-lived. As they approached the exit, they heard a faint, familiar giggle. Turning around, they saw the ghostly figure of the young girl from the mirror standing at the edge of the shadows. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. "But there is one final test. You must find the heart of the carnival and destroy it." They did not even have a chance to ask what she meant. The girl disappeared, and they were left feeling uneasy. They knew their journey was not over. Following the ghostly girl's instructions, the group made their way to the center of the carnival, where the old Ferris wheel loomed like a dark sentinel. They could feel a pulsing energy emanating from its base, and they knew they were close. "The heart of the carnival must be here," Talia said, her eyes scanning the ground for any clues. They began to search, their hands feeling for any hidden compartments or secret entrances. Finally, Nataniel found a small, hidden latch at the base of the Ferris wheel. He pulled it open, revealing a narrow staircase descending into the darkness. With a sense of foreboding, they descended the stairs, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the damp stone walls. The air grew colder, and the pulsing energy grew stronger with each step. At the bottom of the staircase, they found a large iron door. Tzvi inserted the key and turned it, the door creaking open to reveal a dark, cavernous chamber. The air inside was thick and cold, and the sound of a beating heart echoed through the space, reverberating off the stone walls. In the center of the chamber, they saw a pulsating dark mass, glowing with an eerie red light. It was the heart of the carnival, the source of the curse that had plagued the grounds for centuries. "We have to destroy it," Tzvi said, his voice determined. "It's the only way to free the trapped souls and end this nightmare." They were slowly approaching the heart, reaching for it but afraid of growing stronger with dark energy at every step. Upon their approach closer to the organ, the chamber floor began trembling, and ghostly whispers filled their ears. "So careful," warned Leora. "There is no telltale sign regarding what will unfold as we obliterate it." With a deep breath, Tzvi raised the key and brought it down on the pulsating heart. The moment the key made contact, a blinding light filled the chamber, and a deafening roar echoed through the space. The heart convulsed and shattered, releasing a wave of energy that knocked them off their feet. As the light faded, the chamber grew silent, and the oppressive presence that had haunted the carnival was gone. The curse had been broken. The group slowly made their way back to the surface, the weight of their ordeal heavy on their shoulders. As they emerged from the tunnel, they were met with the sight of the carnival, now eerily silent and still. "It feels different," Mireille said, her voice filled with wonder. "The darkness is gone." They wandered through the carnival grounds, noticing how the once creaking rides and ghostly whispers had vanished. The air felt lighter, and the oppressive atmosphere that had plagued the carnival for so long was gone. "We did it," Tzvi said, a sense of relief washing over him. "The curse is finally broken." As they stood at the entrance to the carnival, the ghostly figure of the young girl appeared once more. "Thank you," she whispered, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have freed us." With a final, grateful smile, the girl vanished, leaving the group to reflect on their harrowing journey. As the first light of dawn was breaking on the horizon, the group knew it's high time to leave the abandoned carnival place behind. They have faced their fears and ultimately unearthed the dark secrets that have been pestering the grounds for ages. "Let's go home," Nataniel said, his voice worn out with relief. They walked away from the carnival, their hearts lighter knowing they had freed the trapped souls and ended the curse. The memories of their journey would stay with them forever, a reminder of the power of courage and determination. As they reached the edge of the village, they turned to look back at the carnival one last time. The once menacing grounds now stood silent and still, a testament to their bravery and perseverance. With the curse broken, life in the village of Al-Firasha slowly returned to normal. The once feared carnival grounds were now a place of curiosity, and the villagers began to explore the area, uncovering its hidden history. Tzvi and his friends became local heroes, their tale of bravery and determination inspiring others to face their fears and uncover the truth behind the village's dark past. The village elders decided to preserve the carnival grounds as a historical site, a reminder of the events that had transpired and the courage of those who had faced the darkness. With the ground of the carnival now safe and sound, rebuilding and restoring all that was brought back to place. The broken rides were once again fixed, while the haunted attractions came to be some educational exhibits, relating the history and the curse affecting the carnival then. Talia and Rivka took on the mission of curating the new exhibit, ensuring true stories of this carnival were safe for generations coming along. In fact, as they were rebuilding together, the entire village was filled with a renewed sense of hope and unity. Darkness that used to overshadow the entire village, Al-Firasha, is now replaced with renewed community pride. Years went by, and Al-Firasha flourished into a village. The carnival grounds were a common destination for many tourists, and the story of the brave group that broke the curse was being told and retold. Tzvi and his friends remained close, their bond forged in the crucible of their shared experience. They would often gather at the restored carnival, reminiscing about their harrowing journey and the friendships that had been strengthened by their ordeal. As they stood at the entrance to the carnival one evening, they saw the ghostly figure of the young girl once more. She smiled at them, her eyes filled with gratitude, before fading into the night. They knew that her spirit, along with the others they had freed, was finally at peace. The story of the abandoned carnival became a part of the village's rich history, passed down from generation to generation. The bravery and determination of Tzvi and his friends inspired future generations to face their own fears and challenges with courage. The carnival grounds were preserved as a testament to the power of unity and the importance of uncovering the truth, no matter how dark or frightening it may be. Tzvi and his friends continued to share their story, ensuring that the lessons they had learned would never be forgotten. The legacy of their journey lived on, a beacon of hope and resilience for all who heard it. As the sun set over the village of Al-Firasha, the carnival grounds stood as a symbol of hope and resilience. The story of the abandoned carnival had become a part of the village's history, a reminder of the power of courage and determination. To all our readers, if you enjoyed The Abandoned Carnival, please like, comment, and subscribe to Phantom Fables. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and join us on our next adventure as we uncover more chilling tales from the past. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And remember, the darkness is never as powerful as the light within us.